In terms of the autonomy piece, this is really my big question. They provide a little more clarity. We assume that its autonomous taxi service will begin in 2021, 1 year after Elon Musk predicted the service will be available, regulatory approval permitting, with just 2% of eligible Tesla vehicles on the road on the network in the first year. So, that means if you have like 1.5 million Teslas on the road, they're projecting about 3,000 robo-taxis on the road in 2021. That would be 2% of 1.5 million. I don't know. This is the part of the model where I just don't get it. And I think this is where, and they have this amazing chart that says cash generated from autonomous Tesla network into investment in more factories, which means more autonomous Teslas, which means they can make more factories. Love this flywheel chart. Love this image. But I think there's the big question for me in all this, and I think Ark directionally is nailing it. And like their whole thing about Tesla's leader in self-driving, this is a massive opportunity that people are totally underpricing, totally underappreciating. It's going to change transportation, is right on. But will this launch in 2021? Will Tesla's robo-taxi network be a needle mover financially for the company in the near term? My answer is totally no, unless you start to assume that as the features go up, Tesla can raise that fully self-driving price and then actually capture more near-term margin from selling cars with this added software component. I think that is a real story in the near term that's playing out that could drive upside of the gross margin and cash profile of the company as Tesla moves from 18.8% gross margins towards that Ark goal of 40. I think increasing self-driving features is a huge way to do that. But this idea that they're going to have a level 5 or level 4 network that I'm going to be able to just press a button and get a car to come to me autonomously and drive me around, and Tesla's going to get a 50% cut, and they're making billions from this. Like, I just think that's so far away, and there's so many things in my brain that I see, is that going to be legal? Are regulators going to get on board with that quickly? What kind of data does Tesla need to even get there? They've hit 3 billion miles on autopilot. Elon Musk has said it could take tens of billions of miles to convince regulators. They're collecting 2 to 3 billion miles a year at this rate. So even just based on data collection to get to 10 billion miles, you're looking at maybe a 2022 best case scenario for robotaxi, which is a year later than Ark. The other totally interesting thing about this, that I think Tasha Keeney actually asked Elon Musk about on Autonomy Day, was whether they would be able to launch the Tesla network with drivers in the front seat, essentially just basically replicate Uber's app, but with people driving their cars mostly on autopilot, because they'll navigate on autopilot on city streets. And then you could start to build out the network, trial it out, get in with regulators, basically do a dry run of the network without robo-taxis. And then as the software updates come, you start making these cars more and more autonomous. People have to do less and less. So I think that is actually something I'm watching very closely, and I feel like that could launch, the autonomy Tesla network with drivers in the front seat could launch in 2021, and that'll be the first real step towards getting to this true robotaxi network. But the way I see this playing out personally is it's more like 2022 when Tesla launches its Uber-esque competitor, and then maybe 2025, 24 when this actual true autonomy in these rides. And then that's when the margin starts getting. So I think this autonomy business actually just starts scratching the surface in 2024, 2025, barely a needle mover. And so I don't think it justifies this $1 trillion valuation when it's just going to be barely scratching the surface. I think if we stretch this out to 10 years and we look at 2030, I think there's a way better chance that Tesla's deployed, 1 million robo-taxis or 2 million of these robotic taxis that are generating $100,000 dollars a year in revenue, making Tesla hundreds of billions in revenue, 50 billion a year, 100 billion a year in profit. I think that's a decade move, not a 4 or 5 year scenario. So that's sort of my thoughts on the Ark investment, but I hope I'm wrong. I mean, hopefully the development of this technology is sort of way more exponential. It does get way better. Although I think on the conference call, it's interesting to see Elon walk back, it seemed like, the timeline of fully self-driving, navigate on autopilot streets. Just seem to be taking a little more cautious approach with that. But at the same time, all that matters is Tesla ahead? That is really what matters. And my theory is they're so far ahead. Just it's hard to even wrap your mind. Nobody's even started the race, and Tesla's been sprinting for like 4 years.